彼の残した言葉の中にもあるんですが、いい写真を撮るための最初の条件、これはカメラを持っていることだと。彼が一番思考していたのは、多くの人にいかに写真を撮ってもらうか。
1960年代に前谷さんというオリンパスの技術者がいましてね。
カメラが当時はまだ高級品なので、前谷さんをはじめとする開発の方々が多くの人に使ってもらうにはどうしたらいいかって考えた中で、カメラ自体をもっと安く作りたい。
当時6000円で作れないかっていうふうにできたカメラです。
そして当時高かったフィルム代、現像代を少しでも負担を減らしたい。そうしたらハーフサイズのカメラを作ろう。そうすると倍撮れるのですごく経済的です。
で 35mm カメラの24枚だと48枚撮れます。それが非常に画期的だということで、使われた。ペンが出た時にオリンパスを持って家族写真を撮ったりなんかする人が非常にいましたですね。
主にプロを中心として使う機材が変わってきていた。なるべくいいものを作ろうと各社していて、どうしても大きくなってしまっている。その中で前谷はやっぱりプロが本当に求めるものってそういうことなのかっていうことに疑問を感じて、その中で生まれたのが OM1 だと考えています。
結局彼がこれ集大成なんですね。やっぱりかなり命が吹き込まれたカメラではないかなっていうふうに僕は思います。
When I got into the newspaper business, it was just coming off the time when 2.25 was kind of the equipment preferred. The guy that hired me came from the speed graphic day, the 4x5. As technology progressed, all of a sudden it was accepted that 35mm was great for newspaper work. It's not as physically imposing as a larger camera. The more I become invisible, the more I can become part of the scene, the more the photographic opportunities present themselves to me. The camera, it becomes a productive tool. It's there for a purpose. Maitani realized that, and that drove the original design of the OM. When you put it in your hand, everything was where you wanted it to be. The aperture's right here. My two front fingers take care of that. Other fingers fall back to the shutter speed. It's an enabler, it's a conduit, not an interference between you and what's happening.
1996年にオリンパスは最初の民生品のデジタルカメラを出したわけですけれども、フィルムであろうとデジタルであろうとないものを作るというのは全社共通で今でも一番ベーシックなところに流れているのではないかなと考えます。
デザインを検討するときにスケッチを書いて最初検討して、その次にですね 3D データを入れてからこのようなラフな削りのモデルを作ります。でこれをベースにボタンの位置が適切であるかとか、あるいはグリップ性能はこれでいいかとかっていうのを検討していくんですけれども、我々が一番に考えていることはやはり使われる方、ユーザーのことです。
There's certainly an emotional connection with your camera. As soon as you pick it up, you know, you have a feeling. It's the design, it's how it looks, and it's how it's going to support you in achieving the image that you want to capture. Size and portability and mobility in photography is a message that we've been talking about for decades. The philosophy of the Olympus cameras is being able to shoot everywhere. We had a photographer go to Antarctica, and obviously you've got crazy low temperatures there. We created technology that enables them to do that. If you were that customer, what would the end solution be that you would want? It's important to always be thinking about what do people need, what are they going to need, what's the future going to be, and to aspire to deliver that.
災害に遭われた方が取り戻したいものの最も大事なものの一つがやっぱ写真なんですね。それって単なる現像された紙ではなくて、その当時の家族の思い出がやはりそこに残っているってみんなが思うので、思い出を取り戻したいという気持ちがあると思うんです。つまり写真にはそれだけの力があると 思っています。
I've got a photograph of our son. I think he was a year old. It's got the catch light in his eyes. Wonderful moment in getting ready to tap the glass. It's not a great photograph, but it's a great moment. Wow, look at that. I remember that. Oh, look at this. You know, raising your kids, the pains and the struggle and the exhaustion and the joys and all these things that occur. What a wonderful confirmation it is of you as a human. This is who we are and who we were.
今でもそのものを作るにあたってはお客様の声というのをすごく大事にしています。マイタリが残した言葉の一つに、我々はカメラを開発提供しているんではなくて、カメラを通じて人々が幸せになることを提供しているんだっていう言葉があります。ないから作る、その精神というのを日々実現しようと、これこそが社会に対するオリンパスの役割だと思っています。
Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome to my Christmas party. And yes, thank you very much for coming. And of course, I cannot be here without all of your support this year. So first of all, big thank you for everybody. And as usual, this is a coffee time with me, not just a Christmas party. So I have a few things to show you as well. But of course, we're going to, just generally talking about what's happening in 2020 and what we should be looking forward to in the new year. So I'm quite excited about everything. Do you like my new outfit? I think this is actually quite cool. And you might have seen my thumbnail already. So this is my sunglasses that I bought in Spain. So actually quite cool. I could look like Casey Neistat, can I? Just vlogging on the street wearing a sunglasses that you can never see the eyes where you're looking at. Okay, it's quite warm though, this hat, and so I might actually take it off. Ooh, gosh, it's warm, it's warm. Right, okay. And first of all, let me say hello to everybody, and of course it's Christmas time, so I have to say Merry Christmas to everybody. So, you know what, yeah, with this I cannot see properly, so let me have my normal glasses on, then I can read the text. Okay, and Christian, ho 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 from, the hello there, and Iswan, hello everybody, Casper, Joy, David Crooks, hello there, and Fabian, Michael, Robert, Cole, Taper, and Lifetime by Tim from Germany. Wow, quite a few of you already. I don't expect this is going to be a very crowded video today, because I didn't really promote it. I didn't really say anything about it. It's going to be very like Olympus specific, but rather I just want to get together with people who are tuning in and regularly, and also like having fun discussions with me about photography and Olympus stuff. And so it's all fine by me, and I think it's just an opportunity for me to once again have an interaction with you. And also, of course, I want to say Merry Christmas to all of you individually, and just to express my gratitude about all your from all your support that you have given me this year in 2020. As you know, it's quite a challenging year this year, and you might have seen actually. I believe, that's what I believe anyway. You believe that those who watch my channel also watch other Michael Forthert, especially Olympus ambassador like Peter Forsgard and also Robin. And you might have heard about Robin's latest video. He talked about he's taking a short break from this week onward for a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks onward. I already said it from last week's live. I'm gonna do similar things, so I probably won't be producing a lot of videos for the next 2 or 3 weeks, just because I kind of needed a break away from social media. Running a YouTube channel is actually quite an intensive task. If you don't know, you have to not only have to film, you have to screen, you have to do all the research, you have to physically test the equipment, and it may not look that difficult, like when you see on the screen, all you see is like 8-9 minutes long video, but I'm telling you, on average, those like 8 to 9 minutes videos takes me about 2 to 3 days to film, to actually do the entire thing, from scripting all the way to the final edit. So it's a lot of work goes into each of those videos. So even though I may only release 2 videos a week, You know, that would already taken me my whole week, you know, I'm telling you. And but it's fortunate that I don't have a lot of photo jobs that I usually would have, and because of the pandemic issues and all my photography jobs has been cancelled, and that's why I have time to produce more videos. Otherwise, you know, I will be definitely in big trouble. And but live is, you know, relatively straightforward. I'll turn up, you know, I have a set topics, I'll talk about it, and with you guys here, you know, we just have a nice kind of very friendly chat with each other, and we talk about things. So this is kind of nice. By the way, before I start, how's my audio sound? And because I have a new setup, which I cannot wait to tell you, this little gadget that I have right here. I'm going to do a full review on this thing, because for all those people who want to start YouTube channel, for those people who are looking into like producing a really great audio wirelessly, this little gadget is by far one of the best so far I've seen. I'm not joking, it's that good. So how's my audio looking? Is good? Oh, hello, Nat is here as well. Oh, there's a few more people join in. Let me just say a few more hi as well. Victor, hello there. Slovenia is online. That's great stuff. Philadelphia, hello there. And ooh, what is your username there? I cannot read your I cannot read your name there. Anyway, and you can type your name out. I can read your name out properly. And John, hello, Merry Christmas. And Pete, okay, hello there. And Marcus, great stuff. Tony, yeah, that's good. Right. So just before I start, let me show you this little gadget here. Well, I'm actually using it, but I do have one spare. You might sound a bit weird. Why do I have a spare? Okay, let me show you what I usually use for my YouTube's videos and other videos that I do in terms of interviews and you know, running everything. I use the very cheap and effective Rode wireless Go. Some of you may have already used these kind of units already. It's good, it's effective, it's relatively cheap for what it is. It does run wirelessly. You can connect your mic and your lav mic, anything to it. So that is cool. You know, I love this guy because I've been using it for like almost 2 years solid with these things. But I have a new thing, which looks very similar, but it comes in a box like this, right? Like a jewelry box. If I open it, you can actually see already. That is cool, right? It's a charging box, right? So this thing actually has a built-in battery, so it charges the units, similar to like what Video Micro Plus is. But this one you have to plug into USB-C to charge each one of them. But this guy you can charge everything in a box. And it comes with two transmitters, so you can actually hook up to two audio signals at the same time. That is great for interviews if you have anything like that. And when you plug it back in, you see the light comes on already, so it charges straight away with it. No problem. And the receiver is awesome. It's got all the LCD display to show you the audio levels, and I think this will be my go-to now from audio. But obviously, I'm going to do a full test. I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison with the Video Mic Pro Plus in the new year, so we'll see the video very soon. And so I'm excited about this little gadget here, and I literally just got it 2 days ago, so I'm excited. I'm really excited about it. But anyway, so that aside, how many of you seen my new Laowa lens review? This little guy here, this dinky little thing here. Let me take off the lens hood just to show you how small this thing is. Look at that. You know, when I said in the video, I said that this little lens is actually like the size of an egg. It really is. It's so small and light, and I hope you know, like some of you will have an opportunity to try this lens, because it's actually quite amazing. But like I said in the video, 10 millimeters may be a little bit too wide for a lot of people, but for those who utilize this sort of focal length, such as interior, landscapes, and astrophotography, this is pretty good actually. You know, like it's, you know, fast enough f2 aperture, and compared to the 2.8 on the Olympus setup, so it's actually quite good. But of course, you can pay a lot more money for the 8mm Olympus 1.8 fisheye and defish it. If you want a rectilinear look, you can do that. But then the Olympus 8mm 1.8 would cost you more than double the money of this guy here. And you have autofocus, but look, with that sort of wide angle lens, you know, it's a lot of things are already in focus already, and you don't really have to worry too much about it, especially if you do general snapping. So 8mm 1.8 is a fantastic lens. Don't get me wrong, you know, I reviewed that lens already, and I've been telling you that lens is basically optically flawless. That thing is good, you know, it's good as gold. But this guy is not far behind. You know, like I showed you already the sample images there. Even though, like, because of lockdown, another thing I haven't mentioned. And I couldn't really go anywhere far, and I'm in tier 4 in London, so like I'm not actually supposed to go out apart from exercising. And so like I have limited opportunity to test this lens, but I did photograph something, so I will be posting them on my Instagram, on both the on the Red 35 photography Instagram. So if you haven't seen that, the link is up there, and you will see. Oh, this is actually my Instagram. So Red 35 photography Instagram. You'll see sample photos there later. So it's a fantastic lens. It's really really awesome, and I didn't expect this, you know, to be quite frank. And Lawa sent it to me literally 2 days before the announcement day and asked me, "Can you look at this lens?" So it's a little bit tight. The time scale is a bit tight. You know, it normally takes me about 2 days to, you know, to from scripting to testing, briefly, not even intensively, to filming, not even editing. Yeah, and the night, you know, I finished that video that you guys saw, 3 or 4 a.m. You know, the night before. And so I was working flat out just to do the review on this lens. So it's not my usual standard. I would normally include a lot more sample images for my review, but it is hard. And I know this announcement day, so I'm trying to rush it out. But I did what I could, and I did show you a lot of the stuff that is genuine. You know, like the diffraction-free images and also distortion-free images. That is all, you know, all true. And I just went out there, shot some brickworks and some of the areas around my house. So I just did something there. So it's actually pretty cool, and I do recommend this lens. You know, if you guys are in the market looking for a relatively fast, ultra wide prime lens, and this is actually pretty good. Right? Okay, that's awesome. And let's say hello to a few more people. I noticed a couple of people also just logged in. And Xavier, hello there, and Randy, hello. And yeah, you just bought a brand new lens, 100 to 400 f5.6.3 IS. This is an amazing lens, right? You know, like I can't wait to see your photographs. And this is a beast. You know, when I reviewed it, I loved it. I would have bought that lens, but I'm saving up. You know for what? Yeah, for that 150 to 400 Pro, and that will be my goal. I know it's not a lens that I would say affordable. You know, even for me, and especially I'm not really gonna use that lens to make money, and that lens is not gonna make me any money, nothing at all, unless I suddenly get a commission from Olympus saying that, okay, take that lens out to photograph something, I pay you. And that's a different story. But I don't think that will happen because I'm not really an outdoor photography guy. I'm not a wildlife photography guy. So that lens will purely for me to indulge myself and soak it into like dreamy land, you know, like this Olympus Wonderland, whatever you want to call it. But that lens is going to be my baby, so to speak. You know, if I ever gonna get that lens at some point, you know, and that will be something to for me to, you know, just to have some happiness out of it. Even though, you know, like I said, I may not be shooting a lot of wildlife stuff. And Marsha, hello there, Merry Christmas. That's good. Marsha is here, well. And Marcus, right, you have a question here. So 7.5 or the 10 millimeters? Good question. Very good question here. And I know a lot of people have been asking me about this question since I posted the review for the 10 millimeters. Right, I have both of them right here with me. Right, here is the 7.5. Let me just take it out. So I'll just show you the size difference so you know straight away. Okay, and do I have a back cap here? No, let me just take the cap off. 1 second. I'm just trying to get something. Oops, I just dropped the lens cap. Right, okay. So here we have both Laowa lenses. I need to take both the lens hood off so you can see the size comparison. So this is the 7.5 millimeters f2, which I totally love. As you can see in my review earlier this year, actually. And this guy is the 10 millimeters. So there you go, side-by-side comparison. Okay, I know the back cap is actually slightly thicker on this one, but if you I'm just gonna line it up where the mount is going to be. So the 10 millimeters is actually slightly shorter compared to the 7.5. So this guy is, you know, size-wise, is actually smaller. And you know, already told you this guy is actually lighter than this. And so the 10mm in terms of size and weight, if you really like looking for the ounces difference and things like that, this will be the lightest. They're not far, they're not, you know, too different in terms of physical dimensions and stuff like that. But if you are really counting on the grams, yeah, this will be the lightest one, the 10mm. But focal length, well, this is a tricky bit. I know this is a 7.5, so you are technically getting a very, very, very wide stuff. You know, like in full frame term, this is 15, and this is 20. So 5mm may not sound a lot, but you do gain, you know, quite a bit of angular view. So I think it's about 10 or 15 degrees more. So so it is quite a bit wider. So it really depends on your applications, though. You know, if you want to you know, go to a lot of confined spaces, you need this sort of wideness, you know, for whatever your type of photography, then the 7.5, you know, it can't fail you. It has distortion, you know, however, and so you will have to correct it in post, which is not a difficult thing at all. This day and age, you know, you can easily correct the distortion quite easily. But don't forget, when you correct images in post production, you will lose pixels. You know, if it's a barrel distortion, you know, you have to squash it in, you have to crop in a little bit just to, because you will have empty pixels, right? You have empty pixels. Likewise, if it's a pin cushion, you have to bulging back out, you're going to lose some of the details on the top and bottom and size as well. So when you have distortion in the lens, when you correct it in post, you will lose a little bit of pixels, and some of the pixels will be stretched, but you know, it's not noticeable, but you will. So that's why I always value a zero distortion lens, and or a optically well corrected lenses like the 0D here, the 10mm. So for me, optically, this will be a better choice, you know. And so if you are into kind of like the ultimate optical quality, you know, and I'm talking about like overall, the 10mm would be the lens to choose. But for a lot of applications such as vlogging, for instance, if you are going for vlogging, and where distortion doesn't really come into place. If you do filming, sometimes distortion isn't really a particular issue because everything's moving anyway, so unlikely you are going to notice any sort of distortion in real life. But for photography, the 7.5 will exhibit something, especially if you photograph something like with straight lines, like such as interior or buildings and bridges or anything with straight lines, and you will see the distortion. Not severe, you know, don't get me wrong, this is not bad at all, you know, but you will actually notice a little bit of it when you compare it this side by side. So the 10mm will be a slightly better choice in that case. So that will be my take on it. If you really want me to compare these two lenses, I do like these two lenses. You know, if I don't have the choice between the 10 and the 7.5, you know, I will be happy with either one of these. So it's actually simple. So they are both really good. But now I have both of them in here, I will choose the 10. So that will be my take. So I hope that I answer your question, Marcus. It's not too technical, hopefully. So so I mean, I just bought the 7.5, and so I can't really do anything about it now. No. Seriously, the 7.5 is great. You know, like I already said it. If I have them both, I would say this is better. But if you have either one of these, don't scream about it because they are equally good, you know, in their own respects. The 7.5, like I said, you know, I love this lens. I reviewed it. I gave it 5-star. You know, this is a really genuine gem for photography. And it's small. It's light as well. You know, like if you mount it to something like the EM5 Mark III or the Pen F, you just look how small it is, how portable it is as a system. So this is great. This is great for that purpose. So I really enjoy that. So don't worry about it, Marcus. you got a great lens there. Don't worry about it too much. And David, yes, be safe with the COVID-19 mutated virus that spreads faster than the regular COVID-19. Yes, thank you for obviously for your care. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're in tier 4 apparently, London, and we have been affected by this new strain of COVID-19 virus. Apparently, which is spreading faster than ever. Normally, you know, I think, don't, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just trying to remember what the news said, is spreading 2 times as fast as the normal regular COVID-19. One of my friends just recently got it, and she's okay. She's actually isolating at the moment. She works in the supermarket, so you know, bless her. Hopefully she gets recover soon. She's quite young, so I'm pretty sure she's going to be okay, as she doesn't have any like underlying health conditions, so she should be well on this way in terms of recovery. But nevertheless, she's tested positive, so like I just hope that I won't hear that again from among my friends group, even like you guys. I hope all of you guys can be healthy, and yeah, until the vaccine comes, until you know we have some sort of protection from it, and I just hope everybody is safe and sound. That's all I want. So don't worry about too much about not going out. I know we all miss it. Even like what I said about this channel, you know, I my usual thing will be going out, photographing my models, interact with them. I will be having my regular photo jobs. I will be shooting a lot of portrait clients, you know, and all over the world, you know, around every, you know, cities and countries. But it's not happening, you know. I can't see it happening until everybody's okay, really. Not just the UK, but everybody around the world, you know. That's the difficult part. I think for me, for my type of business, especially for my business model, is that I don't think I am going to have an opportunity to really go back out again until the entire world is safe from this virus thing. And so it's going to be a bit tough for me. But nevertheless, I'm going to focus a lot more in terms of workshops and also online, such as YouTube. You know, I'm going to be putting more effort into YouTube's, which I don't normally do. And this is almost always kind of my hobby thing. And but this year has proven that I can make it work as a full-time. So I'm going to do a lot more videos. So you guys are going to see a lot more of me in this here in the YouTube space. So hopefully you guys are not too disappointed. You're going to see a lot more of me. I will be bringing a lot of changes as well next year. And so just to give you advance warning, and I will be running a little bit a different format. I will be doing some, hopefully I'm going to do some POVs. I know some of you guys have been asking about POVs. If you don't know what POV is, which is point of view. So if I go out to do some street photography, I would basically slap another camera on top of another camera so that you can see what I'm seeing and sort of situations I will be in. So if you guys into that sort of thing, I'm hoping I'm going to create some tester videos and see whether how the response is and whether you guys would like it. So yeah, just to kind of, you can go through the video as me in the video, so you can see how I see things and why I took that shot and exact timing of it. So that hopefully will kind of give you some inspiration in terms of the way I work. Of course, then I'm going to do my usual photography 101, and I'm going to run a lot more small videos about how you can create that sort of effect, this effect, or even teaching about composition, how to read lights. So these sort of things are, you know, I'm hoping that to create, but it does take a lot of time to create these videos. So I'm hoping I will have that time to do it, subject to my availability. You know, as a young parent, you know, who have 2 young kids here, it's never easy. You know, if I'm by myself, if I don't have kids, or my kids is old enough to be independent, that may be okay. But my kids are still young. You know, they're only 8. They only just turned 8, so they are still very dependent on us, and needed a lot of interactions, a lot of attentions all the time, especially when they're at home. And during this COVID-19 year, this 2020, and they are at home almost 80% of the time, you know, and school was closed, so they were forced to be at home. And when they're at home, you know, my wife still works full time, so I don't want to interrupt her so much, so I have to end up looking after the kids a lot. So it's a lot of interruptions there, and it really disturbed my flow of working. Being a creative myself, being a photographer and artist, it's hard, you know. Like you can imagine if you working in the creative industry, you know, like if you are writing something, if you're drawing something, if you're making some artwork, you know that you need to get into that zone, right? You know, but you can't have the interruptions there. Once you interrupt it, you have to stop that creative process. It's hard to get back into it, and you know, unless you're gonna basically sit there for another hour or half an hour, you know, just to kind of get your mind back into the zone that you were in, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's really difficult for me to generate things, you know, and especially a lot of my videos, a lot of the contents I do is creative related, and I need to think a lot, and thinking is hard when you have a lot of distractions, from the young kids. Yeah, and you know how young kid works. Yeah, if you guys have young kids, they will be screaming left, right, and center like almost 24/7 until they go to bed, and that's the only time I will be able to do some work properly. And that's why you see a lot of my videos are actually shot at night, and that is exactly the reason. So I rarely film anything during the day just because it's impossible. It's really totally impossible. And but nevertheless, it still worked. And so hopefully you guys enjoy my new video format a little bit. And yeah, it's something that I kind of finally tuned in myself into the new working routine, even though that I only had about 4 to 5 hours sleep every day. But I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying my kind of new routine, new normal, so to speak. Yeah, that's all I can say about this COVID-19 year. But I'm happy. I'm happy, and ever since September, and my life kind of turned back around, becoming more positive again, after my dad passed away in July. And so there's a lot of downtime for me, and all the COVID thing, the lockdown, loss of jobs, and the overall, the first half of the year was really, really challenging, really, really tough for me. But the second half is a lot better. I finally kind of got around it, and my head's turned around and saying, okay, come on, man. I'm not usually like this. I'm usually a lot more positive. I'm a very bubbly and friendly person. Why would I be like that? So I'm good. I'm good now, and then which is good. And you can see that I'm smiling a lot these days, and I'm happy with the kids. So I'm working with my new routine. So like once you have a routine, once you get used to your normal daily life things, and then it's not bad, and even though it's still in the kind of lockdown mode in London at the moment, we can't really go out too far. But as long as there's a routine there, we adapted to the routines, and that's it. That's part of life, right? And hopefully this routine will change again and become better for the 2021. That's what I'm looking forward to. So Marcus, so hey, if Olympus would send me monies to use that beast of the lens of Astrophotography for sure. Now you talk about the 150, right? Okay. Let's go a trip to Africa. Oh, wouldn't that be great, Randy? Wouldn't that be great? And here they get Roslian Pictures. Sorry, I'm late. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You can join anytime. And yeah, you love my session. Thank you very much. I'm not. You know what? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you guys are at the moment, but I know some of you are actually listening my live stream as a podcast, and I know a few people messaged me before that they actually turn it on when they're driving, but not obviously not watching it, but they just play through the speakers, so like they're listening like a radio show. If some of you guys are doing the exact same thing, let me know. But I know a few of you guys are actually doing the same thing, and because I think about two months ago they said, oh, I really love listening to you, to your stuff, and then so I just turn it on as a radio. I always wanted to do podcasts, and I don't know how about you guys. Do you guys listen to podcasts or anything like that? Because I still trying to figure out how I'm going to do podcasts, if I'm ever going to run one, and then how I'm going to do it or what I'm going to do about it. Because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to run into the similar situation where I'm going to be talking about the same thing, and because I already have one session live every week, and I'll be talking about all sorts of stuff, photography related, Olympus related, and my personal stuff related, it could be a lot of different things there. But of course, I usually base all my topics around you guys, and I'll post something on the community page asking, what sort of thing you want to listen to, or I'll post a poll, maybe asking for your opinions about certain things, and I'll base on those response and to make these live sessions here. So of course today is different. Today is all about Christmas, right? And so like I mentioned, how you guys feel about 2020? This is kind of today's topic really, and I want to hear from you as well. What you think about 2020, what you think about, as a friend, I just want to have a friendly chat here about your life, or even like if it's not personal, like let's say, how do you think about, these Olympus sales issues, and I know a lot of you guys were worried about the whole thing, whether you are still worried about it, and also what are we thinking about 2021 and beyond, what are we thinking about the Olympus world, or Michael Four Third for that matter. What do you think about the future of Michael Four Third? Are you confident about it? And whether you are, thinking of you're going to be, Michael Four Third, until there's no Michael Four Third equipment available anymore, and that kind of thing, and it just want to create some conversation here, because a lot of people ask me the same question about right, look, Olympus is going to be disappearing, this and that, and the Michael Four Third is dead. I know a lot of people are still so negative about this format. It's not really in my position to defend anything, because I got nothing to defend, to be quite honest. And time again, I've been talking about that. Look, guys, I'm a photographer, and in my slow cooker videos, I also said right at the end of the video, I said that camera is a camera, nothing more, nothing less, and that's it, really. Come on, come on. I don't care, about whether the future of Olympus or Michael Four Third. I don't really care, but as long as they're still here, as long as I can still use them, they are my tools, and my preference is Michael Four Third, and simple, that. And you can have your preference of using medium format, you can have your preference of using APS-C, full frame, or whatever you use. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong answers here. We are photographers here, we hold our gears, our tools to create photographs, and that's it. If I don't need 80 megapixel, I don't need 100 megapixel, I don't get one of those cameras. I just want to get something that I could either enjoy making photographs, or I will do whatever my job requires me to use. Like at the moment, all my clients don't need anything more than 20 megapixels, and that really is it. So I think people are just getting a little bit too extreme when it comes to formats and brands or loyalties and things like that. Okay, I'm a brand ambassador, of course, I support Olympus, I believe in Olympus, and I love Olympus. They can see, my crazy collection, right? You saw that. So it isn't something that I would say, to other people, though. That's not something that I would do. I'm not one of those people who would say that Olympus is the best, and your gear, your Panasonic, your Nikon, Fuji, is rubbish. I never said anything like that. To be quite frank, I have lots of photographer friends who use all sorts of brands. I have people who use expensive cameras like Hasselblad, which cost 20 grand. I have friends who use normal DSLRs. I have friends who use full frame Sonys and other systems. But we're all friends. We talk about photography. We sometimes talk about gear. Like if they get a new camera, I would just say, oh, well, let's have a look at it. Let's play around with it. That's really just kind of like a geeky thing, But nothing that I would say that your gear is rubbish or your format is rubbish, your brand is rubbish. I've never ever do that sort of thing. And I think in the photography world, we should be quite happy to have so many brands around and to have competition, to have to push the envelope. I think it's a healthy competition. It's good. It's good to have many brands out there, and you have a choice, right? And as a consumer, one day you may want to use other brands. Like never say never. I'm getting, like I was a Canon guy before. I moved over to Olympus about 4 years ago professionally, but it was my choice. And my choice made because of a lot of reasons that basically make sense to me as a photographer and as a business, which is very important. And so this is the reason why I moved over to Michael Four Third. And it's not about too much about this is more advanced, this is have that many features, that has more megapixels. And look, when I moved over to Olympus, the EM1 Mark II, even now actually, like we still have 20 megapixel sensor. So when I moved over to Olympus, I have less resolutions compared to my Canon cameras. My Canon has 4 more megapixels, 24 megapixel sensors. So did I actually feel that I'm lesser of as a photographer? No, I did not think that at all, because I created beautiful images for my clients, which are very happy about. So they never complain about things like that. Because ultimately they are hiring me. They're hiring my vision. They're hiring my creativity, not about hiring my gear. Well, I still remember when I first started photography. I remember the first couple of years, and I really remember that there's one guy who turned up, and who we set up a meeting talking about their big day, and he was a Nikon guy, and I mean Nikon guy, yeah, like big Nikon loyal fan, die hard, like crazy blind Nikon guy, yeah. I'm talking about. So this guy came to me. Obviously, on my professional website, I never really advertise, what gear I use. Who does that? To be honest, never ever advertise your gears on your website. That's ridiculous. But anyway, so he liked my pictures. Yeah, listen to that. He liked my pictures. So we set up a meeting. We came out to meet. So we discussed the big day. I showed him the portfolio, everything, and then the bride to be, his fiance at the time, and oh, I really love your set of photos. I love how you capture the moment. I love how you do all this candid stuff. I love the tones of your photos, and get quite technical. When you guys talk about photography, right? So like he loved everything. And what happened? Right at the end, he asked me one question. Oh, Jimmy, what camera do you use, and what megapixel do you have? Okay, at that moment, I kind of sensed something coming, and it was totally correct. I told him, well, it doesn't matter. I just want to know. And say, oh, okay. Quite frankly, I can't remember his name. I think maybe John or something. Okay, John, and. Yeah, I use a Canon. I used a 5D Mark II. That's quite some time ago now. Yeah, I have a 5D Mark II. So it was 20, 22, 23 megapixels. I said, oh, okay. I'm a Nikon guy. Okay, let me go back and think about it. So I get back to you. 2 days later, I said, no, I think that we are going to look for a Nikon wedding photographer. Oh, gosh. To be honest, I wasn't devastated at all, about that. Because if people are so blindly looking at that sort of thing, then they are not really a photographer. And if they are looking for brands, and it's fine, just go find a Nikon photographer. Like I said, I don't discount Nikons. I don't, they're great companies. They have great stuff. But people can be quite extreme these days, and this is not once. I have a couple of times like that, there are people asking me about, what camera, what sort of resolutions I got. I get these questions a lot when it comes to weddings. Obviously, over time, I'm more established now compared to, let's say, 6-7 years ago. And people never really ask that question now, because a lot of them actually do know what I use these days, and whether through social media and things like that, they do find out what I use. Even though I still don't say it in my website, but people somehow find out what sort of thing I use. But they got over it because they like my picture so much that they just want it. But I'm telling you that those were true stories, and people did say that to me when it comes to brands. They can be so kind of. Sometimes I just really want to strangle their necks. And like, come on, are you looking for my photos or looking at my cameras? I come to your weddings. Yeah, I'm actually having my brand taped. Like the Canon kind of brand on top of the camera. I actually tape it up. I don't even show the brand. Because I'm trying to discreet, man. You don't need to know that sort of thing, who cares? To be quite honest, you care about my visions and creativity, and that's it. Oh dear me, man! I'm telling you, this is such a weird world we have here. And okay, let's see that. Sorry about the ranting a little bit, but it was quite funny story, right? And I'm pretty sure some of you may actually hear something exactly like that, or you may have actually experienced the same thing, which is a very, very weird thing. And Sean just joined. Hello, Sean. And don't worry about it being late. No worry about it at all. Join in as and when you have become free. I'm here for a couple of hours at least now. This seems to be the norm these days. I remember when I first started this like YouTube live, and it was only about an hour and a half maximum. You know, I never overrun, you know, like this. But these days, I just enjoy it so much. I'm actually here with you guys for two and a half hours for the last. I look back into my files, and because all the streams are being recorded, and so I looked at the all the streams that I've been doing for the last 2 months. They're all over 2 hours long, and but it shows how much I enjoy this, and how much hopefully you enjoy the same thing as well. So it's a fun thing. I think just it's a very, very cool thing to do. Right. Stephen, hello Stephen, just got a DxO Photo Lab Elite. Thanks for pointing me to this direction. You are welcome. I guess if one thing, if I have to say like what technologies that I'm so impressed in 2020 would be, one of them would be DxO, and not that I'm selling it, but I'm genuinely impressed with the noise reduction. You know, like I'm pretty sure some of you already saw it. Some of you may already tried it or even bought it, and you will agree with me. The noise reduction is pretty crazy. You know, and it really works. And to the point that I think that if I ever gonna have to have a whole section of high ISO images, I'm gonna just chuck it all into DxO like DxO Photo Lab just to do the noise reduction automatically, batch processing. Extremely good, you know. I love it, and then it really does a good job of retaining all the details, and or actually enhances all the details while removing all the noise, unwanted noise, which is amazing. And it makes your images looks like an ISO 400, even 200 at times, you know, and depending on how you expose your photos. But it just crazy stuff there. Yeah, it's great. It's great, definitely. So I got a question. Do you guys ever calibrate your screens? I did, and surprised at the difference. And if you guys don't know, why not? Okay, this is for you, all of you guys. Talking about screen calibrations, I am going to review the latest Spider 5 or Spider X, you know, from Data Color. I have been using the Spider calibrations for a long time now, and because I'm a pro, I need to have a calibrated screen. Even though the Mac screen is already quite good, it's already P3 gamut, and it's well calibrated already. But still, the screen calibration can be very, very critical, especially in the professional environment, because you need to provide a neutral color space for everything, right? You know, and in the insurance policy, you know, that's another commercial stuff that you guys may not be aware of. That you have to state that you are working with a calibrated screen, because every viewing devices can be very different. Your iPad, your other like Android devices, your other screen, your televisions, you know, projectors and anything would have a very, very different color interpretations. So if you state that in your contract for your clients that you are using a professional calibration tool, so all your images are edited to the calibrations, you are safeguarding yourself. So whenever you are presented to you the work, you say that if you view that the colors are different in your devices, it's not my problem, because I am running through a professional calibration process. You know, that means that if there is any color shifts, that means your device is not neutral. Your device needs to be calibrated. So like similar to prints in the old days, but prints are easy. You know, you just have one medium, you just print it and that's it. And but digital, you have to be quite careful about how you deliver your work, because you know, people view images, especially digital images, all over the place now, you know, and some people can even turn up using their smartwatches, yeah, to look at photos. I'm telling you, some people do that, you know, and they use their Apple Watch, you know, to look at photos. They do that. So the Apple Watch may actually present another colors, and so you just have to be very, very careful about this digital world. You know, there's such a big dark, I would say, a black hole. You know, it sucks everything in. You just don't know what to expect. You know, it's quite difficult. So as a professional, and just give another good tips, if you are want to become a professional, or you are delivering something, a pay job, you know, you want to deliver your images to your clients, make sure you do that in your contract. And because I'm just telling you, is safeguarding yourself in case they come back to, oh, the color look rubbish. Why is that? You know, why my skin looks very pink? You know, blah 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 blah. You know, they can go on and on and on. I'm telling you. I said, hang on there. You know, like, look, my screen is 100% calibrated by a professional software and hardware. You know, everything's calibrated. Forget it. Everything's calibrated. So I'm looking at a professional screen. Full stop. If you guys have a different screen, it could be a very, very different experience altogether. If you want the same color, calibrate your screen, you'll see it. And if you know, when I say that, they usually won't come back again because they know I'm talking about very technical stuff. And but yeah, just something to think about. And Randy, and this year did test your character. I think you came out just great. Thank you. And I think most of you did as well. And I know I received a couple of private messages and over the last few months, thanking me a lot about, you know, how I became a positive kind of inspiration to them, because a lot of them have run through some tough patches, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have as well. One way or the other, this 2020 is not a good year. So you know, I am generally like this. I'm quite happy and quite jumpy and bubbly and kind of thing. And if you meet me in the real person, I'm like this. And so they say, you know, because of my videos and my live session like this, and it kind of, you know, brings some smiles to his faces, or his or her face. So it's actually really good. So I received a few of these messages, and I'm quite grateful that I'm actually not the negative impact or having any negative impacts. I'm having positive impact on people's lives. So that is good. And I'm doing it just out of my you know, passion. You know, I'm not really like asking you to pay me to do anything, like, and I'm doing this live without any payment or anything like that. I just run it just because I want to see you guys. I want to talk to you guys, and as simple as that. I just don't want to present my work as a very commercial guy and just trying to, you know, whip you guys off. Just hate to use that word, but like I'm not trying to do anything. And if I ever gonna do anything that that's like commercial related, let's say if I'm promoting certain brand and putting affiliate links, I will tell you straight away it's affiliate. And if not, you know, a lot of Olympus gears that I run the reviews for, Olympus never really pay me anything. I just use it. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I just say that, yeah, it could be improved a little bit. You know, I try to come across as more genuine persons. I don't want to tell you that this is the latest and the greatest, and like a lot of reviewers do, especially the brand related stuff. And you can clearly see some of the YouTubers they are Sony fan base, they are Fuji fan base or Panasonic fan base. Some of them are very extreme. They can just say that their stuff are the greatest, you know, like no matter what. And I try not to come across like that, even though that I'm an Olympus ambassador, you know, and I have a duty of promoting stuff. But, you know, having said that, I just want to be as genuine, as neutral as possible. That's why I also review other Micro Four Thirds gears as much as I could get hold of, like Laowa lenses. And so I now have a lot of collaborators now, which is actually good. So you guys will see a lot of Laowa stuff. You've seen quite a few already since 2019 and this year. So I have a good relationship with Laowa. I also have good relationship with Mitakon, and also per gear. You've seen my per gear reviews. I'm gonna have more per gear stuff, and the latest stuff, which I'm gonna show you now, is 7 Artisans. So I know a lot of you guys actually asked me about 7 Artisans, so I finally managed to do a collaboration with them. So I'm going to review this lens in the new year. This is the 35mm 0.95. So I have one right here, so I'm going to do a review for. So if you guys are interested in this lens here, yes, I will be doing a review. So look forward to that. And I also have another 7 Artisan lens, which you guys may or may not hear about. It's this little guy here. Can you see this? Woo! Right. Do you guys know what this is? This is crazy, right? Right. Okay. This is what they call the UFO lens. This is a 18mm fixed aperture 6.3. And one more thing, fixed focus. Yep. This thing is fixed focus. And so this is really just a snapshot lens. You don't have to do anything, nothing at all. Put it on your camera. is flat. It's almost the same size as the Olympus lens cap lens. You know, the 15 and 8mm lens, and you can basically lens cap, you know, and or body cap lens. You just stuck onto the body cap. I did a review for the 8mm or 15. I can't remember now. One of those. It was pretty crazy. You know, it's a fun thing to do, right? Because it's so small, and this is another one of it. But the difference between this one and the Olympus version is that this thing is full metal and actually have a glass element. Unlike the Olympus one, is a plastic lens. You know, it really is a toy thing, and this is a full metal built lens. That is actually pretty awesome. I just want to show you. Look at that. The whole thing is so thin. Just want to show you that. Hopefully it focuses. Yes. Look at that. Isn't it great? And so I want to do a review on this thing, and it may have to be a kind of street photography thing, because nothing I can really show apart from, because not even a focusing ring. I can't even turn the aperture. It's a fixed focus, fixed aperture. It's a fun thing, you know. It's not expensive, but it's a great kind of fun thing to test your street photography skills. I'm gonna try this in the new year. Hopefully, when the lockdown is finished, whenever I will be able to go out, and I will do some street photography with this lens. Hopefully, this will be my first POV video that I'll be using on, and then and I'm just trying to have some fun with it. And just stay tuned for the video, so you guys will see this little UFO lens in action. So that'll be quite fun, right? Michael, hello, and from warm and sunny Dominican Republic. Oh, how lucky you. It's really terrible in London at the moment. It's dull, it's rainy, it's windy outside. But wow. What's the best lens for Ollie in low light condition and astrophotography? Right. You have a few options there, and but I'm pretty sure some of you guys can answer that question quite easily. For astrophotography, I'm pretty sure that you probably want a wider angle lens rather than a standard. But if you're looking for, if you have the budget, of course, you can go for the 17 1.2. I think that will be one of those lenses that is sharp, wide open, and can suck in a lot of light, which helps, you know, when it does astrophotography. But you now have other things like the Laowa, which I just reviewed, the 10mm f2, which is wide enough, not 1.2, but then f2 is bright enough, and it's wide, it's 10mm, so wider than 17, and it's very good, very good lens. Even the 7.5 Laowa is also very good as well. We just talked about that earlier. So you have a whole bunch of options there. Even the Olympus own 8mm fisheye. I know it's a fisheye, but you can defish it, you know, and quite easily in post. So you can do that as well. Yeah, it's just so much. It really depending on what sort of focal length you want. If you don't know, they always have the 7-14 f2.8 Pro, the ultra wide professional zoom lens that Olympus does. 2.8 is not as wide as any of those that I just told you, but it's decent. You know, you have to bump up the ISO a little bit and or do longer exposures. So it's still great. But for low light stuff, for me personally, I would go for the primes, because prime you always get 2 to 3 stops brighter apertures. My favorite would be the 17 1.2. That's my go-to whenever I do low light photography, or even like this 25 1.2 if I need to do some portraits and stuff like that in really dim environments, because it will help. Depending on the cameras, if you have the EM1 series, the 1X or the Mark III and Mark II, you can gain an extra EV sensitivity in the EVFs focusing, so it's actually getting quite good in low light for the camera to see things, so it's actually a lot better. So yeah, hopefully I answer your question. If you don't, you can PM me anytime, so I will give you some more guidance if you want to. And Connor, good evening, how are you? Welcome, and Merry Christmas. See, yeah, so Rollison Pictures, I'm in London as well, just as locked down as you. I'm telling you, this year has been so crazy about lockdown, isn't it? And oh gosh, I don't even know where to start it. You know, we had a full national lockdown in November. You know, like we came out of it in early December. It's like, hey, we're out of it finally, and we're gonna have a Christmas. And what happened? A few days ago, government say that London is in tier 4, so is some of the southeastern counties and some parts of England is going to be in tier 4, which is the higher alert level compared to the previous highest alert level. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? Yeah, previously we had tier 3, which is the highest, and now we have a higher level to the highest, which is tier 4. So literally it's a lockdown, but local level lockdown, and that means that we're not supposed to go out, and we must stay at home unless it's essential stuff like going to supermarket to buy supplies and food, or go to pharmacy to see doctors or hospitals. But apart from that, you are technically not allowed to go out, and this is law. You can get arrested for it, and that is why I can't really do much reviews. I can't do anything. I just stuck here. And well, having said that, it may be a good time for me to take a break from doing videos, which I did tell you guys last week, and so this week and next week I'm gonna chill a little bit. But having said that, even though I'm not filming stuff or doing things, I will still be preparing my New Year stuff. I'm gonna doing a lot of research because I have received another 10 parcels in the last few days, all new stuff that I'm gonna have to look at. I already showed you a couple. The UFO lens I just showed you about, and also have the 7 Artisans 35.95. I also have this, the Holyland Last 150, which is absolutely amazing audio stuff. And I have gimbals, I have bags, I have lots of stuff coming in, and yeah, calibration Spider X, so that's coming in as well. So I have tons of stuff to go through, and those will be reviewed and showed you guys in the new year. But I think after today, I may do one more live next week. I'm still deciding whether I will have time to prepare or do anything like that. But if not, this will be the last video for this year, and I just want to have a break from it, and just to regroup myself and trying to recharge my battery and to be happy and bubbly and functional again in my brain. And next year will be really, really good. But anyway, let's continue the conversation, because we are not finished yet. No, definitely not far. Yeah, sorry, far from it. It's only an hour. Who said that? Who said that? PCP. Jimmy for Olympus CEO. Wow, that's the biggest compliment I've seen so far. Jimmy for Olympus CEO. I don't think I can run a company that big, and mind you, like people might think that for people who don't know me, think that I have always been a photographer. I was a project manager for a while, and I was a consultant for a while. So I worked in the blue chip firms. I worked in a corporate environment for a number of years before I finally gave up and picked up a camera. And so I believe I had the ability, but I think that it's been so long now, and I don't even think that I could run a big company like that anymore, and because my mindset is very different now, because now it's all about me doing things for myself, and being an entrepreneur, being an artist in a way, and a creative. So it's a very different kind of experience compared to corporate working, and it's definitely longer hours for sure. I'm telling you, like when I used to work for a company, you have 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Okay, sometimes you do shifts, sometimes you do overtime, but you can switch off after you finish work, right? You can switch off. But the tough part being working for yourself is that you can't switch off. Like you literally 24/7. Your brain's constantly functioning, constantly thinking things, and then how do you improve this? How I'm going to make more money? How I'm going to expand my business? How can I do this and how can I do it? It's so many questions in your head, and you're trying to do everything, but the thing is, you only got yourself, and so it's different. And a lot of people did ask me, do I hire an assistant, or do I have other people working under me? I have collaborators. I have partners. I have apprentices sometimes, and I have assistants. I do, but I don't have them on a full-time basis, and so like I would ask them as and when I require them, and so I don't have them on a permanent payroll in my office. I don't, and so if I turn up at a wedding, if I need two other photographers, I would call them, I have a list of people who would do that. So they would just basically, oh, if I'm available, so I'll just grab two of them out and then just say go to the wedding and turn up and get the photos back. Similarly for filming, if I need an extra pair of hands to help me carry stuff, or even like to help me hold the lights and stuff like that, yes, they will come along and do things. But I don't have them in payroll, and some of them are actually have their full-time business already, so which is good, and so we kind of help each other out, and this is how the creative industries always works, especially from a smaller scale companies, and perhaps in the next few years, I don't know if my business does come back up again, and I could start looking into permanent employment for other people, maybe apprentice, a full-time apprentice, so we'll try to train other people up and do other things. So that would be good. I know that a lot of people want to learn from me, which I run workshops to train other people, but I know a lot of people actually want to work under me to see how I develop my artistic angles and stuff like that. So those are quite different things. So maybe in the new year, I just have to see whether my business, does return first. That's the main thing, if without jobs, I can't have them, they're full stop. So which is actually quite a thing that I've been thinking about. It's quite hard as well for this year, especially for those people who just graduated, who wanted to get into the creative industry, get into photography as a profession, and it's hard for them. And when I first started out, I've been looking all over for second shooter jobs. I've been looking all over trying to go under someone. It's really, really difficult, and I truly appreciate that. And it's really hard for any startup and anyone who's just starting out, trying to gain experience and trying to hold the camera and take some shots. It's really difficult. Amateur obviously is very different, but if you want to start to make money from it, become a professional, it's a very, very different ball game altogether. And without a portfolio, without an experience, it's really, really challenging, to gain your clients' trust and also appreciations about your artistic creations. So it's a very, very different things. So hopefully in the new year I'll be able to start training people again, and so that would be my wish as well, for because I do like to look after younger people, because I know that it's hard. I've been through that myself as a younger guy at some point, like everyone's been through that, right? When you first graduated from college, you want to go out and find a job, it's never easy, right? So it's the same thing in photography. And if you ever want to gain experience, you can watch a lot of YouTube videos, you can do a lot of workshops and other things, but when it comes to reality, we really want to work under someone to gain real life experience for a few months, maybe a year, so you can really appreciate the whole workflow of things and get the gist of how to run a business, how to engage with your clients, how do you handle situations in real life at the weddings or at the photo shoots. You need to learn all those stuff. It's not something that you can just gain by watching other people work on YouTube. It's a very different thing. On YouTube, a lot of things have been cut out. You don't see a lot of stuff, and especially client interaction, something that you cannot be you can't see from videos. You have to experience in real time, and because everybody's different, you have to be a people person. People skills is something that is hard to teach. You have to see it and really try to do it yourself. And so that's why I think life experience is definitely very important for younger people. Tony, hello there. I have the Samyang 7.5, like it a lot, but I want to get that Laowa 10mm. Yeah, well, if you have the opportunity to try it, the 10mm is pretty awesome. I'm trying not to sell it too much. I don't gain commission from it, so well, just joking, I don't get commission from them. They send it to me for review, and I did what I could, and I do genuinely think that is a very cool lens. So hopefully you get a chance to try it. If you like it, yeah, that would be the lens. Paul, hello everyone, and good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, and Merry Christmas. And Randy, hi. The desert Southwest USA flu not affecting me. Still go out and shoot. I'm optimistic at the new OMD camera. Will not change my use of Ollie, and I'm Ollie for life. Same here. I don't think I would change anything, and unless something drastically happened. For instance, like they murder me or they kick me out from the ambassadorship stuff, and I'm just joking. I think I enjoy this format. I mean, I already have a whole bunch of micro four thirds gear ready, and it's already suitable for what I need to do things professionally. So I don't think I'm going to change anytime soon, let alone for, probably even forever. I don't see the need of it to change to another system unless suddenly I got commissioned to other things that require me to do something completely different and something that Olympus cannot give me. And by then I may have to use a different system. But other than that, whatever I do at the moment, generating videos or running YouTube stuff, or even just doing my normal photography things, Olympus does everything for me perfectly, which I don't need to change. Marcus, yeah, I'm still happy with my EM5 Mark II. I'll buy whatever Weather Seal Micro Four Thirds body is still available by the time when it dies. If JIP does a vial with the Olympus IP, and then I'll get the EM1 Mark III. All right. Still don't know. Obviously, it's just too many speculations, and I think at this moment in time, for us to look forward to in the new year and beyond is just to enjoy the moment. I think that's the best thing, best advice I could give, even for myself. And who knows how long my ambassadorship is going to run, right? Who knows? And I know Robin's already kind of said that he may not be the ambassador or visionary next year, and he's already kind of doing Plan B and is going to try to move away from it. And I kind of appreciate what he's thinking, because the whole Olympus situations, obviously from a consumer level, don't get me wrong, from a consumer level, you guys are going to be fine. You're not going to see much difference there. But for a lot of internal changes, I know management's already changed quite a bit, and the company also changed a lot. So we just don't know. And how they're going to refocus their marketing effort to certain products and certain directions is also something to be seen in the new year. I know from 1st of January next year, you will going to see a lot more directions from Olympus, and hopefully it'll give everybody a clearer picture for everything, and hoping I will see something that I would be able to help or even collaborate with Olympus, and that will be quite awesome. Even if not, and yeah, I'm happy about things, and I still have my channel here. I still have everything that I need professionally, so that's all good for me. So yeah, this is pretty awesome, and I'm quite happy to continue with Olympus or OM Digital Solutions, and yeah, that's the new company name. So I'm quite happy with it, and so we just have to wait and see what happens in 2021. But like I said, I just gonna enjoy the moment. You got your camera there, you got your lenses, just go and shoot, and that's just to create something awesome and share within my See the World group. Talking about See the World, right? Okay, remember this, and I just want to remind you guys, yes, we have the See the World competition closing in a week. So remember to submit your photos or videos that you want to enter the competition in time, and to win some of the great prizes that I have listed in my competitions. You got tripods, you got wireless transmitter, you got gimbals and not gimbals, sorry, lenses. Yeah, you get a lot of stuff there. So remember to submit your work before the end of this year. I will try to do a announcement for the winners in January when I come back, and so yeah, I have a lot to review, because I got quite a few entries already from photos, and so that's awesome. So thank you a lot for you guys' support, and if you guys want to see more and learn more about information about this competition, you will see it here. And so this is the prizes that I listed here. You get camera bags, you have tripods, carbon tripod, they are really awesome there, and some lenses, Olympus recorders, DxO, yes, you have DxO Photolab 4 Elite license to be won as well, so you can save yourself a few bucks, and then that will be quite cool. So that is awesome. So official stuff, promotion done. So let's continue our conversation here. Theo is here as well. Hello, Theo. And let's just trying to shrink it a little bit. Oops. I'm not really worried about Olympus OMD. I trust my Olympus gear will serve me well for quite some time to come. I'm confident enough to invest a lot of money in the newest beast of lens. Yes, by the way, everybody, meet Theo. Theo has ordered the 150 to 400 Pro lens. I am so envy of him. I'm telling you now, because he told me, was it 3-4 weeks ago? You know, when they first announced that you can pre-order the lens, he just went to order one. I so envy you, Theo. Oh, oh man. So I can't wait to see your photos, though. You know, I just want to see how that lens perform. You know, and that will be quite awesome. But yeah, please do share your images, and like I said, I'm very confident about Olympus, and I don't see that they're going to go anywhere in at least medium terms, you know, and so I don't think we should be worried too much about it. It's a great brand, has a big fan base, have a big user base, and people are loving the products. People who do use the product will appreciate and also love the product. And like I said in the slow cooker videos, you need to try Olympus cameras to appreciate it. And this is something I'm hoping also in 2021 is somehow Olympus would be more proactive in the promotion side of it, and hopefully that will get more hands-on experience and do more promotion in the gear itself, and get more people to try it, because I think people are missing out, you know, what the benefit of Micro Four Thirds is, and also what it can do for you, you know, both for photography and videos. It's getting better in videos, and so if you're dedicated video guys, that there are more options out there. But photography, gosh, it is definitely one of the best out there. And especially if you're an adventure type, if you value the portability side of it, and also obviously ultimate ruggedness, because the M1X and the M1 Mark III, they're both like super tanks. You know, they you can't break them. You know, they are so good, especially in all kinds of situations and weather situations. You can throw all kinds of elements to it, and it will survive. So, and Paul, I'm very excited about Olympus Panasonic in 2021. And ooh, did you hear that? This is my Christmas drink, by the way. This is my ginger Pepsi. I like ginger Pepsi. The system needs good news, and more than we would like to admit. Hopefully, we will see new lenses, body sensors, better integration with social media. I believe those are definitely on the agenda from Olympus, so you don't have to worry about it. We're definitely going to have new lenses. You've seen the roadmap, so there will be new lenses coming, new bodies, of course. Sensors, of course, there will be new sensors, but I don't know when and what sensors they're going to use. Of course, they're not going to tell anybody anything until you actually see the product itself. And so I can't comment on that. And better integration with social media. I think this down to the software development and for the menu system, how they integrate it into it. We shall see. I think a lot of them will be there, and I'm very, very excited, especially with the new lenses that I don't see in the roadmap. In the all kind of, they have it there highlighted, but they don't see what it is, you know, and the kind of thing is kind of a little bit mysterious. Mysterious is the word. Yes. Okay. Right. Let's see. Is there anything here? I am skipping through a couple of the comments because I think you guys are talking to each other. Okay. Oh, Peter Forsgard is here. Hello, Peter. How are you? And Merry Christmas to you too. Hope you have a nice holiday season with your family. Thank you, and you too. Yeah, I hope that Finland is not as locked down as we are in London. So it's gonna be you know, it's quite tough in London, especially this year is the first year I don't see my family, and that's a true fact, and which is actually very sad in a way. Well, I already lost my dad in the summer, so that's bad enough. But like now Christmas time, my mum is in London, but I can't go and see her because we're not supposed to mix people in the house or do meetings, face-to-face meeting, and she's quite old, so I don't want to obviously affect her in any way, and so it is. Yeah, it's just a crazy year this year. But Peter, yep, this guy is a cool dude. Yeah, if you guys don't know Peter, you don't deserve to be here. Peter is a cool Michael Foster, of course, Olympus visionary in Finland. And he also runs a very cool channel as well, talk about all the tips and tricks about Olympus stuff. He review a lot of Michael Foster gear just like I do. Yeah, he's a very, very awesome guy. And I can't wait to go to Finland at some point, you know, whenever travel is allowed, because Peter came to London and we met each other. That's cool. So hopefully next time I'll be in Finland and meet him, and that will be quite a good exchange. And he can show me around the beautiful places that he usually film his videos. That will be quite cool. Yeah, I can't wait. And so Merry Christmas to you too, Peter. Right, let's see here. Randy, I have an Olympus OM2 SP. It comes with a 36 full frame sensor and dust resistant and about 100 megapixels, I think. I like that. I like that. I like that. I'm actually telling you now, there was a scientific test about film resolutions. I think no matter how you look at it, I think modern digital cameras now can out-resolve what film can give us. And even if you use the best and the sharpest negative you can find, and or the finest grain film you can find, you are going to struggle to get up to about 30 megapixels, and 30-ish you can probably get with a very, very good drum scanner. And not a normal scanner, but you need a drum scanner to get the extra bit of everything from it. Even that is, you talk about like 30 odd megapixels in terms of resolutions. You're not going to gain more than that. So in the old days, when first digital came about, you know, when we used to have 12 megapixels, 20 megapixels, you know, we would say that, oh, film is still more superior, and if you are using it the right way, digitize it the right way, you can get extreme sharpness and everything. That was true. But these days, you know, anything over 25 megapixel would definitely have a better advantage in terms of resolutions. I'm not suggesting content. That's another thing. But yeah. But what you're saying is quite funny because, yeah, it's a full frame thing, right? People always think that full frame is big. People who shot film know that that's a total rubbish. I'm trying to say bollocks, but this is total rubbish. And, you know, it's a format. You know, like it's a 135 format. You know, as simple as that is not about bigger thing. You know, and Micro Four Thirds is a smaller format, and that's it. You know, just like the half frame pen system. You know, in the past, or the 110 cameras, they're using smaller negatives. And if you want bigger stuff, go big. Just go medium format or large format even. You know, they are big. You know, if you want big things, you know, those are the biggest format you can get. That's nice. That's nice. Very good. So, oh, Merry Christmas, Jimmy and Peter and everyone. Merry Christmas to everybody, of course. Should I put my hat? Should I put my Santa hat again? I should be feeling festive. To look at this. Oh, yes, that's better. Right, okay. That is cool. I like that. I like to have some festive stuff going on, right? You know, just have a bit of hat there. I should play some music. Who likes music? Right. Let's have some music here. Let's play some music together so we feel a little bit festive. Can you hear, guys? Hopefully you guys can hear the Christmas stuff. Okay. Let's see if I'm going to pick up another one. Steve Page, ho ho ho. Everyone's feeling festive. I like that. That's cool. I hope you guys are singing Christmas song as well. Actually having more wines and some frankfurters now. I know what I'm missing now in my studio is Christmas lights. I should have brought some Christmas lights. Oh, damn it. I have some in my house and I didn't bring it here. Photographer matters more than the tool, but if Olympus and Panasonic will see more and more declining sales. Mind you, I don't think you're wrong, but I also say that in general, sales would decline regardless of brand and format. And because there are people who used to buy cameras for better quality are now shifting back to the smartphone, which is something like this. And to be honest, it's more about saturations. It's about what we have these days. People have to kind of go back to the days where people used to buy point and shoot cameras and how that market completely disappeared because of the rise of smartphones. And it's the same thing. At some point, people are still kind of like the casual type of people who were really looking for buying a camera to get better quality photos, so they think. But if you don't know how to operate a camera, how to take better pictures, you're not really gaining a lot from buying a better cameras. That's always been the case with any photographers or any wannabe photographers. It's simple. For those cases, after they bought the cameras, if they're not really utilizing or maximize what the camera can provide, they would go back to this. There's no doubt about it. And because of that, some of them have gone back, and especially these days, and I hate to admit, but some of the latest iPhones or latest Huawei, or other Android devices, they are getting to a point that it can be a very effective point and shoot cameras for people who do snapshots. Obviously, you still can't compare in terms of quality to proper cameras, yeah. But a lot of them have moved back, so sales will continue to decline because the general people are moving back to smartphone for even the so-called smartphone upgraders. But you can see that not all of them are genuine photographers. They may fancy the idea of having a system, but when they got the system, when they start to play around with it, or if they don't have time to play around with it, they don't appreciate it, they would soon forget and they go back to smartphone. And unfortunately, that's the cycle that they're going through, and that's my take on the declining sales and in general. And this is exactly the reason why I think manufacturers should really starting to look into a different strategy altogether, and rather than having an update every year or every year and a half, slow down the production the product cycle, and to, like, let's say back to the film era, like 2 years, maybe 3 years even, just to leave some room, leave some gaps there, so give people more reasons to either upgrade or get a more revolutionary product. At the moment, it's all about evolutions, because like whenever you get something, it's never going to be as in terms of feature wise, I'm talking about, going to be as big a difference compared to, let's say, 10 years ago, because 10 years ago there's not much there. You don't have AI stuff, you don't have a lot of cool tech that we're enjoying these days, and but now people are releasing cameras and products like way too quickly now, and people are just getting too much materials, and they don't appreciate. And that's exactly why when I make the videos about the slow cooker thing, and people need to appreciate photography as photography, not about technical gears and stuff like that, and because that will eventually drive more sales. Once people appreciate photography, once they actually learn about how to take better photograph, and that is when they starting to realize that I need the gear, I need better gear to do certain things. Because at the moment they're getting the gear not because they need it, they just want it because it sounds good, And so this is the exact reason why I think manufacturers have to bear some responsibility to educate users, educate photographers at different levels, why they need it, not by selling it how great it sounds and things like that, because that's exactly what they're doing at the moment. A lot of the time when you look at a lot of the marketing materials from different manufacturers, it clearly what they are targeting is people to shout about it, and not so much about highlighting what they can do with it. And I think that really is the problem with it. And even when you see a lot of YouTuber reviews, and then they are also talking about numbers a lot, like lots of numbers, but they don't really tell you, what does that mean in real life? Like, what does it mean? What sort of impact does it have for your photography? They don't have that sense, because a lot of the I dare to say, not a lot of the YouTube reviews out there are generated by proper photographers. Not a lot of them are generated by people who work in the field for long enough to actually appreciate what manufacturing trying to do. Not many of them, so they can't convey the message, or trying to convince people, especially to the people who are experienced in photography, to actually understand and appreciate what the new thing is about. And I know there are a lot of tech reviewers out there as well. They're trying to review cameras, which totally doesn't make sense at all, and then because they're trying to review as review the camera as a tech, and I just think it's totally wrong. And then they also have a lot of technical reviewers, which is good, and but they're only good for those who are genuinely understand those technologies within the camera. And so there isn't a middle ground there when you have a proper photographer who actually know what they're talking about, and then they go out and talk about a camera, talk about certain features, and make you understand exactly what's going on. So I think that to a certain degree, I think manufacturers should start looking into and trying to find someone who can, or at least find a way to actually convey that message out to users, to end users, that, oh, this feature is so cool because what, you know, like you have to give a lot of examples there, a lot of tutorial, a lot of live actions, a lot of things to show and justify that feature is good. But at the moment, it's quite hard. You know, a lot of them are quite gimmicky, and they just have to show you, oh, you do this and that. You know, the eye is focused. You know, no matter how far you are and things like that. But in real life, it doesn't translate a lot to people who may not understand it, for instance. So yeah, this is kind of my take on something that's happening in the last few years, and I do think that manufacturers is trying too hard sometimes, trying to sell something. And while what they need, I think, is to just slow down just a tad, you know, let people absorb what we have nowadays. And to be honest, you know, if you're a photographer, to be quite frank, you know, how much do you use all those features in your camera? I don't use all of it. You know, the EM1X is fabulous, right? You know, these really cool. It's got all these AI, deep learning, subject checking things that I don't use. Full stop. I don't. You know, I don't do trains, I don't do planes, I don't do cars, I don't do the latest one, the birds, I don't. So for me, I don't use it. But does it mean that it's a bad camera? No, it isn't. It's good. But it got other things that I like about it. You know, like tracking is good. You know, for general tracking is good. Faster speed, a robust build, something that I would look for as a professional photographer. But is this sort of thing that you need to be conveying that message over, and because it may not suitable for other people. I know some people may want the EM1X because of what it is, and but at the same time that there are other great options like the EM1 Mark III or whatever other cameras out there which are equivalent, and so it's a lot to think about. To slow down is always a good thing for people who a lot of users got confused of all these choices out there, and there's not one standout thing these days. If you look at all the releases this year, tell me one thing that would make you scream. I mean, apart from the 8K Canon thing that kind of got me excited a little bit, but then it got overheated, right? And so apart from that, I don't see any camera that would make me think, oh wow, that is worth me thinking. I don't see one this year that actually gave me the urge to kind of, wow, that is cool. Not actually one camera that actually gave me that, because I'm looking at it as a photographer. I'm looking at how I would use a camera for my job, how I would use it. But I don't see anything that will give me any advantage over what I already have. So in that sense, if you are really down to earth, really step back and trying to step back from the screen and think about everything's out there now, and you soon realize not one of them are any different to what you have already. You know, like they might be 2020 model, they might have better burst rates, bigger buffer, better resolutions, all the kind of bells and whistles that marketers are telling you, but at the end of the day, you are still taking pictures. And would that make you a better photographer? Would that actually help you get better pictures? Probably not. So in that sense, I think that really manufacturers really not to trying to shift this strategy a little bit now. And I know it's great to upgrade your cameras and to start selling a lot of stuff, but if they slow down the release cycle, and that would definitely help, because in 3 to 4 years time, a lot of photographers will upgrade the cameras because either the existing camera getting old, and then and they will need to upgrade anyway. So it's good. It's back to the normal cycle that we used to see in the film era. But in the more digital worlds now, people are different now. People are now chasing gadgets, and then it's a very different market out there. But it's a vicious market. It's a very not healthy market there, and people are looking things to complain these days because they're just not good enough. And it's true. To me, I don't think any of them are good enough, and that's quite a truthful comment from me, I don't think that any of this camera in 2020 is worthy of me thinking it's a great camera. And I know a lot of tech reviewers may disagree, a lot of people may disagree, but I think genuinely, I just think that things can be a lot better. And but at the moment, I'm just not getting that excitement as I used to see when I was a film guy. So it's something to think about, I guess. So let's move on. I know I kind of ramble a little bit. Oh, Lee is here. Hi, Lee. Merry Christmas, and don't worry about lateness. And you're here already. That's all that matters. Right. Oh, Randy, thank you very much for your super chat. Jimmy's like that, very positive. He's smiling all the time, and I did meet him last February in London. This feels like a lifetime ago now already, isn't it, Peter? Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Randy. Thank you very much. I've used DxO for a long time now, and it's excellent. Yes, it is indeed. Right. Corner, damn, I found a pretty good price 60 Ollie Macro 2 last 2 weeks ago. Quite satisfied with it, and I do want to have a 52.8 Laowa 2:1. I actually do have that lens as well. I have not reviewed it yet. I know Peter has. Peter has reviewed their 52.8 macro. Sugar, where is my lens at? I keep losing lenses these days. I just don't know where I put my lenses. I have it somewhere. I'm pretty sure I have, because it was on my desk. I hope my kids didn't take it away and start building a castle out of it. And they've been taking my lenses to build things, and I keep telling them they just don't build stuff with my lenses. You know, they are valuable. And kids is kids, right? Lucky that Olympus lenses are usually very rugged, fairly rugged. And oh yes, greeting to Peter Forthgard. Burana is here as well. Hello, Burana, one of my regulars. Hello, Burana. How are you? Hope that everything is good where you are. Marsha is saying, I would love to have the Laowa lenses, but I already have the 7-14. Yeah, you have to. If you have the 7-14 2.8 Pro lens, you don't necessarily need those lenses that I just told you about. Obviously, if I review something, I'm basically aiming for people who may not have a ultra wide already, or people who may need a faster aperture lens, because 2.8 just isn't fast enough, because there are people who need those stuff. And so your 7-14, I have that lens as well, and that is a brilliant zoom lens, and it does 99% of the stuff that I needed to do, apart from being a little bit heavy, you know, and that will be my only complaint about that lens. It's a little bit heavy. It's even heavier than my 12-40 2.8, and my other prime lenses is a quite heavy chunk of glass there. But it's the optical quality. Yeah, you can't really fault it. Who's a buy Fuji? Oh dear me. If you buy, I'm back. Great stuff, mate. Great stuff. Like I said, this channel isn't about, just about Olympus. I know I'm an Olympus guy, and it's getting hot again. This thing is really hot. This is a good winter hat, by the way. And so yeah, I welcome everybody. Like whatever system you use, whether it's going to be Nikon, Canon, Fuji, it doesn't matter. You can all join here. Like I said, we're all photographers here. We talk about photography. Although, yeah, we may talk about Olympus a little bit more, just because I think majority of us are Olympus guys here. But we are photographers. We're happy to exchange valuable information. So especially skills and knowledge and stuff like that. This is a community about photographers and creators. So hopefully this is a place for us to talk about photography as well. I know I review a lot of Olympus stuff, but I also have a series called Photography 101, which actually talk about photography a lot more than a lot of people out there, because at the end of the day, I'm a photographer, and I'm not technically a reviewer. So I just review things based on my type of usage and my type of photography. So it may not really be, may not be representing for like the public, and because I know, like, I do like portraits and people photography a lot. I do weddings and location shoots, but people may do macro. So I'm not a macro guy, so I can't really see it in the way that a macro photographer sees, nor astrophotographers or landscape stuff, even though I do a little bit of landscape. And street photography, I'm quite big on street photography, so I guess I could talk about street photography. But yeah, it's quite a good community. I know that all of you guys are all different type of photographers, so that's exactly why we're all here to talk about different things. So it's a good central place that we can exchange valuable knowledge, and which you only get if we talk to each other. So that's the only thing that I would say is a community, right? Fortunately, the weather allows me to go out walking and keep my distance, but I'm in the house more than at the beginning of the COVID. Florida has had more than 11,000 cases in one day. I think in the UK we have 35,000. Yeah, crazy numbers. And yeah, we are technically not a good place to be at the moment, and that's why that people are banning us, all left, right, and center. So I'm kind of stuck in the UK now. I can't go anywhere. And Pep, hello there, Merry Christmas to everyone from Spain. Hey, stay safe and keep going, Jimmy. Thank you very much. I'm going to keep going, of course. I'm always going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. Someone from España as well. Hello there. And look at that. Okay, I'm just going to scroll through some of the messages here. And Casper, I use Olympus because of the rockiness and portability. I'm staying with the brand as long as they keep the standard. Of course, this is one thing I don't think they will sacrifice, and I don't think they will change anything, because the R&D team and the manufacturing are the same as before. So they're not going to change anything. They're going to keep the same factories. They're going to keep the same personnel there who run the factories. They're going to keep all the quality guys there, and the designers, and the like I said, the R&D, the optic designers. So they're all going to be there with the new company. So I don't see any immediate or even long-term changes in terms of quality of the products. So I think you're pretty safe there if you worry about the quality standards and things like that. I think Olympus is going to remain as good as ever, because this is one thing that I think Olympus cameras are great, is the build quality. And how many times I go out and show a Olympus camera to my fellow photographers, friends, or whatever, they will all come back with one comment when they hold the camera. They will say, "Ooh, it feels good. It definitely feels quality." And I'm not trying to exaggerate that, but they do say that every single time when I meet a new friend who had never actually held an Olympus camera before, they will say the same thing about how good it feels in the hand. And yeah, it's weird how it is. Like a lot of people haven't experienced Olympus cameras, and they would just basically don't take me seriously whenever I say that these Olympus cameras are great, and in terms of build qualities and rockiness, and yeah, they don't believe me, a lot of them, and until they actually hold the cameras in their hands. And well, I guess you're gonna have to try it to believe it. So oh, Wee Wet is here. Hello there. Hey, Wee Wet, how are you? Oh, I took a Randy's here. My mum grew up in the 30s. She says these days are easy. Well, actually, it's quite an interesting conversation here. I think you might not be wrong. Compared, even in photography photography. I know some of you guys already, probably experienced film photography and grew up with film photography. Analog, I'm talking about. So like in the old days, a lot of things were hands-on, a lot more hands-on. Remember the days we don't even have meters in the cameras. You have to do a separate light meters on your hand, or even using Sunny 16 rules, just to gauge what sort of light you're seeing. You train your eyes to sense the light intensity and adjust your exposure accordingly. But back then, of course, film's latitude, especially black and white, is more flexible in a way, so you can do a lot more things with the film during processing. So this is slightly different, but in a way you still have to do anything manually. You have to look at things, assess everything. But these days you have computers, you have AI subject tracking. Like, gosh, man, like we have to look at things and manually focus things myself. It's quite different technologies now, and in some ways, if you understand it and then you appreciate and you find that it's easy. But for people who grow up in this day and age, they take everything that they have these days as take everything for granted. They just think, oh, I got to have face detection, I've got to have eye detection to be able to photograph. And obviously that's totally wrong, right? You don't need them to photograph something. You just have to do it the old fashioned way. Like, what if those people who never had face detection, DSLRs, don't have face detection? They don't. And unless you switch on to live view mode, then that's when you have the enable the other processing methods or AF methods, and then you can see the faces. But if you're using DSLRs, you can't. You don't have it. You don't have face detection. So does that mean you can't take photographs? Of course not. You can just do it the manual way. Similar to all the other type of photographies in the old days. And in a lot of instances, I think that newer photographers may think that it's difficult, but we think it's a lot easier, because not because we're older, just because we have experienced the older method of photography, how we do things in photography compared to now. Yeah, definitely look easier to us. Like, remember the older bird photographers, how are we going to do things bird in flight with older stuff? Like they have to do everything manually. They have to learn the behavior of the animals. They have to learn about everything, how or when, whatever sound they make, are they going to do certain things? They have to learn all sorts of behavior. They have to study that species. It's very, very careful thing. It's a lot go into it. And these days we have AI subject tracking. You have pro capture. You can almost eliminate that stuff that I just told you about. Obviously better if you can learn about the behavior, you can kind of anticipate it, but you are more likely to capture that shot with the pro capture and AI subject tracking for bird in flight photography. So it's so much easier now compared to the old days. Like before these things, you really have to study. When you look at a lot of the older National Geographic videos, some of the older documentary wildlife photography things, you learn about a lot of these photographers who have to stay there, study. They learn a lot about the animals, and it's almost like they have a degree in that particular species. And I'm not joking. That's how much they know and understand that particular animal before they become a specialist in photographing them. It's hard to say that it's hard to say the same thing about modern day photographers now. A lot of them don't have the same knowledge about that particular species, and they just go up with all the text to help them to photograph those animals. So it's quite difficult. I think different era now. And but I still think that if you are genuinely interested in wildlife photography or shooting animals or anything, actually, you need to have the basics, I think, and just in case, not only just about the system failure if it does fail, but it's almost about you appreciating the particular subject that you are actually photographing. And that is very important, because when you nail that shot, when you nail it, you will be extremely, not just happy, but extremely excited, because you can tell the story to your viewers, you can tell the story to your fellow photographers, to people who are looking at your images, how you capture that shot. Because without appreciating whatever you're photographing, you don't understand how you capture that thing from the hard way. It's quite hard to explain the excitement. Like if you have all the automations, all the AI stuff that I just told you about, I'm not saying that they're bad, but I'm saying that you should understand them. If you just capture that with all the text assistance, and then when it comes to viewing the image, it may be a great image, but when you show it, when people ask you, what happened there? How did you capture that photograph? And you probably will have a blank moment there. It's like, oh, I just clicked the button. That's all you did. You see what I mean now? Like a lot of the modern younger photographers who relying a lot about technologies, they don't have that same appreciation, because they have all the tech to help them to capture those photographs. But if you understand and study everything, from the scratch, and that's when you truly appreciate, photography to the best, and whether it's going to be animal, whether it's going to be street photography, even portraiture, you have to study the subject. Like I said so many times about my type of photography, when I go out with my clients, I literally would spend the first half an hour, maybe even an hour, depending on how long they book me for. I actually study them I do personal study with them, and then by means of I would generate a lot of conversations. I would study the characters, and I would trying to engage with them in a very personal level. I would try to bring the inner self out, so I can see the person from through the eye. So like, it's a lot of studying there, and as a portrait photographer, you need to bring those characters out. Not just about point and shoot. I don't use that eye focus thing that on the E1 Mark III. Not just about clicking it. I need to engage with them. I need to understand and appreciate them as a human being, and to really study hard about what sort of character he or she is, what sort of person he or she is, and because without that, you are blank shooting something, and it may be technically perfect, because most of the time you are anyway these days. With the metering is so accurate with the cameras now, you don't really need too much about technical skills anymore. But to bring you an other level up, you need to have that sort of studies, whether it's going to be people and animal, like I mentioned earlier. So it's very, very important. I'm giving a lot of tips here, so hopefully that will help you to elevate your game a little bit. But yeah, it's a fun thing about Easy, and I think a lot of photographers should step back a little bit, starting to learn a little bit and study the subjects in question, and hopefully that they will improve their photography as a result. So let's see if we can get more things that we can talk about here. Paul is saying that Peter and Matty come from the land of Santa Claus, no lockdown there. Is that true, Peter? Can you tell me? Is that really true? I know Finland, and it's a beautiful place, actually. I would love to actually go there one day, just to experience the place and to see everything there. I know, because from the videos I've saw from Peter and Matty, he's so cool, man. And London is a concrete forest. You know, we don't have a lot of greenery. We don't have a lot of mountains. In London's flat. We don't have mountains here, unless I drive like hours away to see some mountains. And it's really quite a confined space here in London. So it's not as pretty, I would say. You know, obviously we have a lot of opportunity for street photography and some urban photography. But sometimes if you want to just let's get your mind out, just to release your stress. You know, we just want to see some greenery, see some trees and things. We don't have that opportunity in London, so sometimes you do feel a little bit claustrophobic in London. You're surrounded by all kinds of high rises and density of people, like traffic and stuff like that. So it's actually very, very a different place. Let's put it that way. John, season greetings from you and from Manchester. Merry Christmas to you too, John. And I know you've been here every single time, so I recognize you, of course. You know, I recognize all of you, to be quite honest. Most of you are regulars here, so I once again thank you and Merry Christmas to all of you. I know some of you just joined as well, so I might as well say that again. We should not worry about saying too many Merry Christmas, because it is festive season, right? You know, it is Christmas coming. Only how many more days now? 23rd today. 2 more days to Christmas. Wow, this is amazing. I know it's once a year. It's once a year, so like, we've got to enjoy this. We've got to enjoy this. And Randy was saying that the Ollie Michael 4/3 is a full frame format camera. It is. It's a frame. It is a frame. You are correct. Is this a full frame? That's exactly why a lot of people talk about full frame stuff. It's total rubbish. Total, like, you know, people are completely ignorant, you know, about what format is. And frame is a frame. There's no full frame. There's no half frame. I mean, I know people used to do that, but just because they use it as a reference. And but like, when you use a full frame as a term, as something, it's gonna be a bit weird, right? You know, and so that means that anything bigger is bigger than full frame. So medium format is bigger than full frame, right? So it's I don't know. It doesn't make sense in my head. No, it doesn't. I mean, I think we should go back to the old days when we actually name the format, like 120, 135, you know, like 110. We name those formats rather than having full frame, half frame, quarter frame, whatever frame. You know, I don't know. It's a bit confusing there. So let's go back to the old days, but obviously not up to me to say it. You know, the people are so used to APS-C, APS-H, full frame. Yes, still, come on, full frame, medium format, and then obviously Micro Four Third. Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? And Ryan, hello there, greetings from across the pond in Toronto. Hello, Toronto. And where are the drinks and music and party lights and time to party, my friend? Yes, I have music going on. And let's do Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Yeah. And I have my drinks. Right, let's continue our journey here. Really? Years ago, someone gave me a camera, and all I want for Christmas was MJU. That's a great camera, by the way, but they have several different versions of it. Right, that's cool. That's another comment. That's cool. I think that Tony N is a good but arrogant guy, and he reads out a lot of negative backlash from Michael Forster is that video. That made him change his mind and start a small crusade against crop sensor. I don't know. A lot of you probably watch a Camera Conspiracy, right? And then he's a funny guy. Yeah, he talked about Tony, and to be quite frank, and I used to watch Tony's videos really way back now when he first started. I think he's a good guy. I think he's an okay guy, but he does get a little bit too extreme sometimes. And nowadays, obviously, he's all full frame or nothing guy. And some of his video is just completely off the chart in terms of how he blur the background, and that's exactly what Camera Conspiracy made jokes of it. He's all about bokeh, you know. He's shot everything wide open. He's completely lack of substance for a lot of his stuff, and I don't know how to describe his video these days. And I actually think that when he used to shot with his GH4 and GH5s, I thought those videos were actually better because you see a lot more environments into it. You know where he was, and you can see a lot more. You can feel a lot more from his videos, but these days he isolating everything out of it, and in a way, he's showcasing what bokeh is. You know what bokehlicious is, what 1.2, 1.4, 0.95 is. But you know, like I said so many times, as a photographer, if you appreciate photography, it's not just about bokeh, right? Even for filmmaking, right? You know, if any of you are filmmakers, you know bokeh isn't everything. You need it sometimes, but you don't need it all the time, and that's what I'm saying. And but Tony has become one of those guys who needs it all the time, and then and that's what kind of pushed me away, further and further away from his channel. And not that I don't appreciate him, you know, he's done a lot for the photography industry, but not just about his negativity towards crop sensors and Micro Four Third, and sometimes he does kind of, you know, do a lot of negative stuff and maybe just a bit too much about something. And I think he should be more impartial about a lot of stuff. And but anyway, that's him. You know, it's not for me to judge a person. And I do think he's an okay guy. You know, he like I said, in his earlier videos was great. You know, some of his earlier stuff was actually good. And I do used to watch his channel, but lately, not just because I'm a Micro Four Third guy, but it's about his production values, and it's a lot about his presentation styles. Is not as before now, and I actually thought he was more genuine, you know, a few years back, and compared to nowadays, he's more of I don't know how to explain about Tony anymore, but it's all about his presentation style. It's not, I would call it genuine, you know. It's kind of a little bit manufactured in a way, and so I think that he should look back to a lot of his older video and learn a few things from it. That's how I would actually suggest him to do. Dices, can I mention your channel? Go on then, mention your channel, mate. Mention the channel, that's okay. I like Randy said, I like big cameras with grips, so E1X was a natural. It is the replacement for my E5 with a grip. Remember I told you about my secret, and I got the E1X because I wanted a big camera, and that was true. It's still true. I love the E1X, and it's a great camera, but I actually got it because of its big size. I know size is everything, right? No, I'm just joking. It's just kind of my fetish thing, you know. Like now I have one, I don't need another one. So like I adore my E1 Mark III. I adore my little cameras. I adore this. For those who haven't seen it yet, my UFO lens combo with the Pen F. Look at that. This is a truly pocketable camera, which is actually very cool. It's really fun, this thing. Let's continue our journey here. Roger Hill, the only thing that made me say wow this year is Deep Prime from DxO Photolab. It's amazing, and I get much better low light images. The second person say that today. Yes, indeed, the DxO Lab Photolab 4 Elite Deep Prime is definitely revolutionary to my eye. I know there are Topaz, but I personally think that Deep Prime is leaks above it, and then it's definitely easier to control. Although having said that, the only gripe that I can say about the DxO Prime is that it is not JPEG compatible, or certain RAW format is not compatible. Other than that, it's perfect. It's really great, and I wish that it can work with JPEG and TIFF files, and that will be great. And hopefully in future, they will allow that to happen, and also like increase the compatibility side of it, because at the moment it doesn't read DNG as well. So like that means that if you have any DNG files such as Leica or even DJI drones, and you cannot run it through it because it is not compatible, and you can't run JPEGs either. So you have to use a normal Prime and to do noise reduction, which is actually okay, but Deep Prime is the main thing, right? Deep Prime is actually what's cool. But lucky, all the Olympus cameras are compatible, so I'm able to denoise all my Olympus files and makes it all look nice and clean. That's very good. And Lee saying about the 10mm lenses, yeah, is really, really cool stuff here, right? I do love it. I do love it. Tony, I think you're heading off now. Is it? Everyone stay safe and have a great holiday. Indeed, you too, mate, and have a great holiday. If I don't see you next Wednesday, because I'm not sure whether I'll run a live yet, so you guys will have a great holiday, and you know, be safe. Remember, be safe, because the last thing I want to hear is anyone is ill or feeling not well. That's not what I want, and I want everybody to be as healthy as you can, so that whenever we can travel again, I can see you bouncing around. We can take photographs together. How's that? I think that's the main thing, right? We have to do that together. Ooh, hello. Karin, hello there, and good vibes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Indeed, it's fun right here. We all talking together. And let's see. Oh, I have an M1X, but I don't have to use all its features. Like I have a 60 macro, but I don't have to use it at the 1:1 macro all the time. 1X just gives me more choices. Yep, likewise. I have a 60 macro, and my usage is very specific. You know, I either do detail shots for my wedding photography, or sometimes if I'm feeling ultra bored, I go out and photograph my spider on the windowsill. So that's what I do. But it's a useful lens. It's a very versatile lens. The 60 macro is an ultra sharp lens, and that thing can resolve details like no others. And having said that, the Laowa 52.8 is also quite awesome as well. But it is actually very cool. It's very, very good. And Jeff, great coffee time today. I also give a shout out to DxO Deep Prime and shot a whole event with 6400 ISO with great results. Jeff, thank you very much. And yeah, so many people actually do agree with me about the DxO thing. And so you see, it's actually, you know, DxO had approached me earlier this year to do the Photolab 3 review, and I did the review on the Photolab 3, which back then I thought it was pretty cool, but it was lacking a little bit. It wasn't quite there. And then it's a good it's a good viewpoint technology that I enjoy using anyway. And but it was great. But Photolab 4, gosh, that deep prime really struck me. That deep prime was, I think, I think most of you are quite right there. Deep prime is the most revolutionary things I've seen in 2020 in terms of technology. It really does clean up all the noises, especially if you're Micro Four Thirds guys. If you shoot a lot of high ISO stuff, you got to try that. You got to try that. I actually have a link in the description, by the way. If you want to try that, you can download the free trial in the description. I do have a link there. You can actually click it. I just copy and paste my description. That's why you see it there in all my videos. I just can't be bothered changing them. But yeah, it's still there in the description. So you can try that. Yeah, the deep prime is amazing. And when I tried the denoising for my 6400 4000 ISO files, it came back really looked like 400 files. So it's that good. So something to try. If you don't try, you never know, right? And you gotta have to see it. I'm not selling it. There's no obligations there. You don't have to buy it. You just try it and see whether it's good for you. But I know that people, you can see the comments here now. 3rd comments today already mentioning about the XO, and is pretty dope. Pi Me, I need advice. What bright 1.8 to 2 wide angle 12 to 24 lens that is not so expensive? I need it for portrait and family photos. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Right. Not so expensive. Between 12 to 24. 24 isn't wide. 24 is probably quite standard lens. I would think, personally, if you want to do some portraits, if you're looking at that sort of focal length, well, not too expensive, would be the 25 1.2. Not 1.8, not 1.2. 20. Not this one here. Where is my 25 1.8? I don't know where it's gone now. Again, I thought I had it here. Nope, apparently not. But 25 1.8 is a great lens for portrait, half-length portrait, close-up portraits. It's actually very good. Not to you don't have much distortion there. It's actually very good, and it's wide enough to isolate, do a little bit of isolation there. So yeah, I think that is pretty inexpensive option for that sort of focal length. 12 millimeters. When you go into wider angle, you are going to ask for a little bit of a premium, because they're always wide angle bright lenses are quite expensive. Unless you go for manual focus, then you have the Laowa as the options there, because they are quite reasonable in terms of pricing, and they are usually about f2 or 2.8, and so they are bright enough. Because if you're looking at 12 f2, the Olympus one is quite expensive. The Olympus version is about £550 or equivalent in US, and so it's not cheap. But if you want to slightly more affordable, I think that the 25 1.8 it will be a good kind of general lens anyway, and it's quite good sharp lens, have good 1.8 aperture. So yeah, I think that could be it. If you kind of looking at that range, 25 is only 1 millimeter different to 24. So yeah, 25 will be quite good for that. So hopefully that answer your question. Right. In my opinion, Olympus and Panasonic should look elsewhere for sensor besides Sony, Samsung and Canon. Well, funny enough, I don't know if you heard the news, Canon is starting to sell sensor to other manufacturers, which they never did before. Like, we all know Sony makes sensors for other cameras. We know Samsung makes sensors for other people. We know that Fuji make their own sensor for themselves. They don't make it for other, because they're X-Trans sensor, they're proprietary. We know Canon used to make sensor for themselves only. They also buy some Sony sensors for some of the lower end cameras, but most of the high end Canon cameras are actually their own sensors. But as of next year, they will start producing sensors for other cameras. So we could see Canon sensors in Micro Four Thirds. That would be interesting. We know that at the moment, Olympus making their own sensors like everybody else, and so is Panasonic Actually, Panasonic may use some Sony sensors as well, and so it's kind of all mixed bags there. So we may see Olympus using other sensors, perhaps. I think that that's a possibility. There is also depending on the cost of it, the cost of R&D. Maybe they just take the shortcut instead of developing their own thing. Just buy something that's already out off the shelf, that's ready already, and there are a bunch of good options out there nowadays, of course, and you may have heard about Sony's high resolutions backside illuminated sensors. These are all available technologies and sensors out there already. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, I can't speak on behalf of Olympus. I don't know anything about it, but is there a possibility? I think there is a possibility, and especially now with the new company, new directions, we may see they skip the sensor development and just go and buy something that's available already. So that could be it. I don't know, but it'll be exciting to find out in the future and see whether that will have a very cool impact onto the performance of the cameras, and it'll be interesting to find out. But what I would like to see Olympus do is to keep the color science, because when you change a sensor, you need to tweak a lot of things, you know, and at the moment they can just match it quite easily because they develop their own sensors, they develop their own thing that talk to each other, you know, so that they will ensure the Olympus color science remains in the camera. So when they change to other sensors, you have to tweak everything, because each sensor would look at colors differently. So they have to tweak everything. So I am hoping Olympus will keep the color science and make sure that the famous, and what I love about Olympus is the colors. So I hope that they will keep everything to make sure that everything will look as good as ever. That's what I'm thinking. Sorry, I need to blow my nose a little bit. Sorry about that. Excuse me. I got a bit blocked nose there. Okay, I feel a lot better now. At least I can breathe. Okay, right. Where are we? Let's see. We are. Calvin, Calvin's here. Right? How are you, Calvin? You're quite late. And hope that you're okay and enjoying your Christmas and this festive season wherever you are. And it's really good to see so many of you joining today. So I'm really, really happy. And you guys make my day once again about this Christmas thing. Even though that I know isn't anything kind of specific that I want to talk about, and it's more about a general chat about everything, and also reflecting what's happening in 2020 as this year has coming to the end. And how many of you actually wanted to end 2020? It's kind of bad to say that, but in many ways I wanted to end. You know, that's from my personal level. I just wanted to end because it's not a really great year for me, professionally and personally, and it's hard, you know, and it's had impact me negatively in many ways, and you know, like this very channel here also suffered a lot from it, because I wasn't really generating any videos in the early part of this year. I was feeling a little bit down, a little bit depressed about, you know, all the things I mentioned already. Don't want to repeat it, but it has impact onto this channel, and I wasn't really have any energy to do anything, and the growth of this channel has subsequently suffered because of that, and because I wasn't making any videos. And you know how YouTube works: if you don't make videos, and the things just go down, you know, you're not relevant. That's how they see it. Unfortunately, that's how the algorithm works. So, but hopefully. And now I'm back, and I can see that a lot of you has becoming my regulars and also becoming my friends, you know, and who listen to me, and also like we talk to each other, we communicate each other. So we're becoming a good community here. So hopefully we'll stay together, we're stuck together, and this channel will continue to grow. And hopefully, even if I take 2 weeks break, then you guys will still come back, and whenever I start again. And so that's what I'm hoping for, because I know YouTube is a very vicious environment sometimes, and if you don't produce videos, and you lose the momentum, and they won't recommend your videos, they don't do things, and so that is exactly why you have to hit that bell notification to stay notified when I get a new video out, because without that, yeah, you may not actually see my videos until like 3, 4, maybe even a week later. And that's how it works, unfortunately, and how YouTube works. So remember to click onto the bell and stay notified. Yeah. Music Sound Gear. Hello, Merry Christmas from upstate New York. Hello there. How are you, mate? Upstate New York, you guys have a big snowstorm there. My goodness, I've seen the news and I've seen some of the photos that posted on my See the World group on Facebook. You guys have lots of snows there. You know, like we don't have snow anymore. You know, we have rain, just rain, pure rain, nothing else. Not even slush, just rain. And but yeah, wow, that is something. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. The photo just completely blew my mind. And hopefully everything's safe though, because I know it can be dangerous when you have that sort of that level of snow in such a short period of time as well. So that can be something quite dangerous. So hopefully everybody's safe there. Hopefully there's not many troubles or casualties in because of that, because any sort of weather situations can be very, very dangerous. Even in the UK, we have like really severe storms, wind. We have a few years now in a row that we have up to 85 miles per hour winds, which is completely horrible. We can't even go out, and it's just so severe. We can't drive because it's so dangerous on the road, and it's really horrible. And John Fallows just said, "When once photographed a chairman and CEO and the Canon SLR focus on the pot plant behind the disaster." Oh dear. Those were the days, mate. Those were the days. But now, lucky that we have the face detection. We just talk about technology, right? And can't believe that. Totally understand the subject leads to creativity. Thanks, mate. Thanks for appreciation there. And it is a lot more than just about cameras and pressing the buttons and enabling certain features. Is way more than that. Like I said in my slow cooker videos, I think that is it's a lot easier just to turn on the camera and just shoot. But there's a lot more than that. As a photographer, if you want to take great photographs, God damn it, you have to plan things. You have to actually study a subject. You have to do a lot of creative stuff there. It's not just about clicking that shutter button there. It's not just about processing either. I know a lot of people are wizards in Photoshop. A lot of people are really great at post-processing, but it's not about that either. If you don't have the raw material, like cooking, remember we all talk about cooking now, you don't have the raw materials there. No matter how much flavoring you're going to add into the dish, it's still not going to be a great dish. It may taste okay, but still not going to be great because the raw ingredients is not great to start with. So something to think about. And so that is exactly why I don't always believe people who post on the social media these days. They always post so many photographs that they claim to be great photographs, because I think if you ask any masters, like great photographer masters out there, just ask them how many photographs that you ever done that you consider as great. Just ask them that question and they will probably come back with you with a dozen, and that's it. And that's for their 30, 40, 50, 60 year span of career. They will tell you that I only have about 12 great photographs. And that says enough, because I think that these days people don't realize or don't actually look at photography the same way, and that they always think that I take 3 great photographs a day. And for me, I don't think I can take 1 great photograph a month. I may take maybe a couple a year, even that I think is great, and I'm not suggesting that things that are delivered to my clients are bad. Those are different, because those are commercial photography, and you are giving your clients what they pay you for, right? But at personal level, if I want to photograph something for my projects, for my stuff, I rarely say that I take a great photographs. If I go out, let's say I do some street photography, I go out sometime, I come back empty-handed. I may have a few shots, but I wouldn't consider them as great, and I ultimately will probably chuck them and then I just do it again. But this is exactly why I think sometimes people should be more careful and also more criticizing about their own work, and they have to, if you want to be better photographer, you want to be better, you need to raise your level of photography, and by starting to criticize your own photographs and starting to understand what is not good about your photographs, and then you'll be able to move up. Because if you always think that you have produced some great works, then that's not very good, because everything you produce is always great. And I don't know if it makes sense, because it's good to think positive, and don't get me wrong, it's good to that, because that motivates you to do more. But at the same time, sometimes when you think that you just haven't done enough, that's also a driving force to do better. And when you look at your photograph, I should, next time when I see that scene, I should move it to the left a little bit. Maybe that will compose it slightly better. Or the lighting, or maybe I should underexpose it just a little bit more. And it all helps to build your confidence, and also build your knowledge about photography, and in also skill levels. You can increase your skill level by criticizing your own work. And this is exactly why I think that is very often that I look at myself, look at some of my photos. Even me, I take tons of photos a year, and but I would always look back at my photos and say, damn, I should have done it the other way. Gosh, man, I missed that moment there. I talk to myself a lot, and when I look at my photos, sometimes if you're standing next to me, you would just hear me talking to myself and just say, and sometimes I swear, just like, I should have done that, and that's exactly, I criticize my own work sometimes. I just like, gosh, man, this is not good at all. I do that, and I think I suggest some, if you're not into it, don't worry. But if you do, and then it's not a bad way to improve your photography, because you know exactly what you need to do in the future, or next time when you see something similar to that, and then that way you can do it better. Right. Wow, I missed a lot of comments. T. Lim is saying, Sony Northrop is not a photography, is a guy making YR video as a career. Oh, dear me. Okay, suddenly there's loads of comments about Tony. I'm sorry about that, Tony, if I'm hearing it. And right, Marsha, take care of yourself, Jimmy. Happy new better year if you're not on next week. Thank you, Marsha. Thank you very much for joining once again. And yeah, you too. Merry Christmas and have a great time with you and your family as well. And yeah, if you can spend the time together, that's beautiful. That's nice. That's the best thing for this year, I'm telling you. And like I said, this year we can't do that in London. We can't. We are in Tier 4. We are not supposed to mix families or do any meetings. It is tough. It is tough. I mean, think about it. We already kind of separated for the whole year, and it's just that few days. Come on. Rob's in the house. Hello, Rob. Hope you're still here. I'm still backtracking for some of these messages at the moment. So, Rob, hopefully you're okay. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you for joining. Peter was here earlier, so I'm not sure if he is still here at the moment. And yeah, it's Rob. If you guys don't know Rob is also another Micro Four Thirds guy. Fantastic, a guy who does a lot of information, very informative videos on Olympus and Micro Four Thirds stuff. Great dude, and yeah, go and subscribe to his channel if you haven't already done so. But I'm pretty sure people who watch this channel already watch Rob, Peter Forsgard, Robin Wong, and also Emily's Micro Four Nerds, right? Because we are the prominent force of Micro Four Thirds, and that's good. That's cool, awesome stuff. And yeah, it's always great to have familiar people in my circle. Rob and Robin and also Peter in the house, and it's always great. To me, cameras are like cars. Everyone gets wrapped up in all the latest features, megapixels, 95%. People don't have the ability, skills to take the camera to the limits of its capabilities. Very well said, Rays. Very, very well said. I think that is definitely true. Definitely true. And I said it many times. People don't believe me, but I always say it. You're still saying it. Okay, good stuff. I think I caught up with most of the stuff here. Excellent stuff. Right, I caught up with all the messages. Whew. What a day. What a party. Thank you guys for actually coming on here. I know you guys may be busy, and it's absolutely fantastic to have you guys here supporting me, supporting this channel, supporting Michael Four Thirds and Olympus. And photography, of course. Remember, this channel is not just about Michael Four Thirds and Olympus. It's also about photography and anything creative. So like, we're all here supporting this industry here, and hopefully that we will see it boom again in the new year. And of course, Olympus, I'm hoping that the new direction is going to see us benefit us in many ways, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in 2021. Good and bad, I just gonna go for it. Doesn't matter, but I'm still gonna be here. I'm still going to be here in YouTube, and you can still follow me with the social link up there. And so whatever happens, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So remember, you guys, stay safe wherever you are. If your government asks you to stay away from people, wear your mask, please do it. And I'm hoping that all the vaccine stuff is going to be available soon for everybody. I know in the UK we're already having a program. It's already rolled out, so hopefully at some point I'm gonna get it as well, and hopefully we will be able to travel and actually go outside and meet people. I cannot wait, and so difficult year not to be able to go out, enjoy, and not just about Christmas, but people in general. I don't know about you guys, I miss seeing people. I miss actually going out and talk to people and photographing things, and is not happening this year, and probably not for the first half of next year either. So it's gonna be new normal, I guess, and it's something that I have to get used to. But like I said, I have a lot to show you in the new year, and I already showed you the UFO lens. Do you guys like the UFO lens? This is the UFO lens. It's actually pretty cool. And I will show you in the new year. I also have the 7 Artisan 35.95. I have new bags to show you guys from Jitso, from Manfrotto's. I have the new audio system, which I'm actually using right now, and very cool. And also have some other stuff that you haven't seen yet. So I will show you everything in the new year, and also, of course, my usual live stream on Wednesday and other photography 101 to improve your photography game. How's that? There's a lot to look forward to in the new year. So everybody, Merry Christmas once again, and thank you once again. Without all of you, I would not be here today, and that really is from the bottom of my heart. Merry Christmas, and stay safe and stay healthy, and yes, enjoy your festive season. If I don't see you next week, that is. If I do again, I will see you again. All right, guys. I'll see you later, and enjoy everything. And remember, See the World competition is still on for another few days. End of the month is the deadline. That's it. And I hope you guys will win the prizes because they are awesome. Bye for now, and take care, everybody. See you all soon. Bye bye.